Chapter 506 of Fairy Tail has finally got some spoilers to come out for it, and boy oh boy, have we just seen the end of the Natsu E.N.D fight versus Grey? Well, we're going to get straight into it. You guys know, as always, if you do not want to know about the stuff that's going on in these chapters, then goodbye, skadoodle, you know, all that good shit. We're going to do a countdown at 3, 2, 1, magic's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, because boy oh boy, have I got pretty excited for what's to come in this chapter. So we do get to see like kind of the front cover of the series. We do get to see like immediately with Urza on there, like seemingly very bummed after everything that went down, and even Mavis is on the floor like kind of crying and all that, just going like, you know, shaking like, oh my god, like, you know, after everything that Makarov does. So I'm kind of happy with how they're treating this like immediately when this chapter, where it's like, no, it isn't a throwback, not like the Julia stuff where it's like, no, they're making sure and they're making us feel like this is actually, you know, Makarov is dead, and that feels bad, the fact that we have to like double doubt ourselves when a series does that, which it sucks and all that, but you know, can you blame it and all that when Fairy Tail does stuff like that? But it's like, it's still a goddamn emotional thinking about that. And I don't know, like the bit that kind of got me a little bit, it was like when you saw Laxus like there, like just putting his hand over there and saying, you know, there's still some enemies, we need strategies and all that, and it's just like, and when Urza's there and it's just like on like her knees crying, it's just like, thank you and all that, thank you for being like allowing me to be one of your children, thank you, Makarov. I was like, oh my god, this is fucking, you know, this is really good shit right here. I really enjoy it. And it's like, it's treating like Makarov like it's like dead, and that's what I want to see, and hopefully it stays that way, because like that's what I loved about it. It's like, it's actually making things that I would really enjoy though if like kind of like maybe Lux had a little bit of moment, but that kind of showed him kind of being a man saying, you know, I'm proud of my grandfather, we need you here and all that to take care of this, like, but god damn it, I am so proud of my grandfather doing that. I would love if we had an additional scene like that, but Irene, that bitch, she's just like, you know, fuck them and all that. Although that costs us about 70 to 80% of our troops and all that, the Spriggans are entirely fine though throughout the entire this, so there isn't going to be much difference, like taking out pretty much every single one of the berserkers throughout all of this. And whilst that's happening though, which seems like a good chunk of the chapter is going to be about kind of like seeing like getting some memorial to sort of what we got to see with like Makarov, the rest is about Natsu E.N.D versus Grey, and the transformation's clearly happening throughout the entirety of this fight. The more that Natsu's continue fighting this guy, we clearly see that his arms are actually turning into this dragon dark demon-like scales that he has across his body. It's not only just his face getting across there, but this is the bit where I was like, holy shit, this is the character that jumped in and stopped this, and that's Urza coming in to stop Grey and Natsu and blocking it with her bare hands. And if you can clearly see when she's actually like, she's crying and she's actually holding back the two of them, both of them in shot, you can see the fact that Urza's like, both her arms are completely, like her right one is completely singed, like nearly like kind of charred off, and the other side of this like cracked and iced and all messed up from this, and she's just going, what the hell and all that are you doing? Like, why is this happening right now? Like, really? And she's thinking like, maybe they're hearing the voice about Makarov being like dead and all that after his sacrifice. It's just something that's able to get like cleanse like these two and all that and stop this fight. I think a lot of people actually generally wanted this to be Lucy to actually stop this fight. To be fair, I think it was Lucy should have stopped this fight at all, but whether or not this is fully stopped, I think it's generally the fact that when she's talking about Makarov and all that, saying like Makarov didn't give up his life for this, for his own children to be fighting like this. I think this is what's probably going to be snapping out, but very weird. I'm sure not a lot of people was expecting Urza of all people to coming in and to break up in this fight. This clearly shows like where the kind of the ending is going, and with the next chapter afterwards, with chapter 507, is tiling itself as a voice. So this is something that's probably going to reach into Natsu. I believe that's what probably the theme of the chapter is, since that's definitely, every time with the chapter's called, that's definitely a theme that you want to go for, and I definitely think that is reaching into that. So I think Grey might be able to actually calm himself down with the rage, although he has been going a little bit more like crazy and crazier. I generally think though Natsu is probably going to be losing control. He's going to try and resist it. Whether or not Lucy gets there in time and actually helps up and like controls Natsu, that'll be an interesting thing if she does come into that. But the fact that like Urza was able to not really take 2 blows off these guys, but the fact that like her arms on that just got completely shredded and messed up, in the fact like I want like hopefully and all that, like this is maybe something that comes in future line. I don't think so with Urza, because you know it's Urza. She's able to like near overcome everything, but I generally think this is like really goddamn good material and all that. The fact that, you know, it seems like we are getting like Makarov staying dead, and the fact that they're mourning him, like they want to respect his wishes, and Urza, like maybe this might be the great time for her, like this is her taking up the mantle and like stopping these kids, just like how Makarov did. Just whenever they started fighting, she would do the same thing for them. And I think this, if anything and all that, right now this could be some great redemption, not full redemption for Urza for a lot of people, but I think for a lot of people that had a lot of doubts of the Urza for a very long time, I think right now with this stuff going on and with the Eileen, I think this could be a great redemption of her and actually growing her character a little bit by actually having her going in, facing off against like Eileen, going against them, accepting that title of a guild master. This is something that could be pushing this character to way more great heights than we actually expected of her. Like, her greatest like moment she's had was during the Tower of Heaven, during her own arc, and ever since then, she's always just been the OP, oh, I can overcome everything, you know, during Tara or something. I feel like that was redeem a lot for this character, because I know a lot of people really like lost so much love for her, and I generally, even myself, I think this would be a great moment for this. But I'm genuinely curious to see what you guys really think in the comment section down below, exactly about what's going to be happening in like the next couple of chapters of Fairy Tail. Like, do you think actually like by the time Lucy even gets there, do you think they're stopping there? Because a lot of people have been saying that since Lucy already is like putting on that like dress and all that we've seen a long time ago with the Grand Magic Gate predictions of her like being in this destroyed area singing, like that could be a reference as well to like the next chapter voice. Like, it could generally be about that. So maybe the fact that maybe like Zereth and Lucy might need an encounter, but I'm not too sure on that, as we already do see at the moment is that Zereth is with Irene unless they teleport there, which we can clearly see that this bitch can do a lot of things, and I mean a lot of things. But I think it's still going to be a pretty long while until we have something more of them. But if anything, I would like to see, like, if this Grey versus Natsu fight is over, I would have actually liked to see a little bit more of it and actually focus on it. But generally, if this is the case, I don't think the E.N.D thing is far from over from here and all that, or maybe he might even run away for that matter. There's still just so much options, like, for what we can do with Natsu E.N.D. The fact of the matter is, and all that, we've clearly seen that Natsu is evolving his E.N.D transformation throughout the entirety of that. Claw confirmed everything. The more he stays into this, like, E.N.D form and activate it, and the more, like, he's, like, actually resisting this power, like, we're gonna clearly see, for the matter of fact, that he's going to keep getting more and more like dragon-like scales, and referring back to the stuff that we saw a very long time ago when the movie 2 was announced. I generally think we are going to see stuff like dragonized stuff like that's going to be coming out. He's probably going to be growing wings, he's going to grow arms, like he's going to grow everything, like the horns and everything. I think the more he keeps doing this, the more like later on. So the fact is, like, we've got two options whether or not they're actually going to stop Natsu right now, he's actually going to resist it and the E.N.D will come back for Zereth, or he's actually going to run off for quite a long while and Natsu maybe not like entirely out of the story for quite a bit while everyone else has their fights, because it seems definitely right now we are actually going to maybe have a break for the main part for like some of the characters. So I don't think we're going to be seeing a little bit of Grey for a while maybe after this. I don't think like he's going to be a main focus. I think he might come back if the Natsu E.N.D stuff comes back, but just so much, I mean, with just these spoilers, and I'm so excited for the fact that when we come to get the full chapter, like, it's just like, I generally wasn't expecting the spoilers to come out at all, and it just really made me hype, like, for like the next stuff that's going to be happening with 606 especially, with 506 exactly, and the same thing with 507 being tired voice. It just adds so much to it, and goddamn, I know I'm not the only one who is looking forward to immensely for this. But there's going to be a question on that, like, for you people though. What did you generally think about Makarov's sacrifice and all that? Has, like, this chapter turned you around on that, for the matter? A lot of people didn't really feel like that, like, emotionally attached to Makarov since he hasn't done anything since then, and he kind of, they wish they went out to someone, like, powerful, like, Acnologia, and it would have gave, like, a much greater course for them to be like, oh, we want to take Acnologia down. He took down our, like, father, instead of being taken down by just a couple of berserkers. That was something a lot of people questioned in that chapter. Or did you actually generally enjoy that, like, Makarov went down last chapter like this, and they're mourning him now, and respecting it, and kind of confirming that the hero's like wants to keep this death around. Then we could also have someone do like a rewind time stuff. We have had time manipulation in the story before, so honestly I think, like, I would like to say he's dead and all that. I think I'd like to say now, like, there's 70% chance now he's dead, but don't forget that 30% can always come back, like, to haunt us. But No, I think with full clarification now, I think he generally is dead now, and I think that's a great thing, but I generally think he should have stayed dead during the whole Temujima stuff. But even so, though, like, I generally think this is a great time for Urza to build up the character alongside, like, this is a first step in that, and that's trying to stop Natsu E.N.D alongside with Grace with his Ice Devil Slayer powers. This is a moment for him right now, and I really can't wait to see what she can exactly do with this. That is all from me, though, ladies and gentlemen. That's all we can break down in the spoilers, so let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think and all that. But that's all from me. If you love Fairy Tail as much as I do, then you know where to hit that like, you know where to hit that subscribe, and all the magical stuff after that. Thank you much as always for watching, and I'll see you guys though in a bit.